So we are starting up another stream, and today I would like to talk a bit about the latest change on the Wusik station. We have done a lot of changes, added a lot of options for Wusik station version 8, Wusik 8000, and Wusik 4000. So the latest beta 84, which is the one we are testing right now, has a lot of new features and also some fixes and updates. So we can see there's a lot of have been done, and this also applies to Wusik 8000 and the fixes for Wusik 4000. But some of the new features some of the new features on Wusik station and Wusik 8000 were not ported for Wusik 4000, but most of the stuff are there, so Wusik 4000 users also can benefit from that. And well, let's go through a bit of the changes. So let's go one by one. We have added the VST effect hosting. So now you can host VST effects. So let me quickly show to you. On Wusik 8000, you just go here on the master effects area and add the VST effect. And then you can select the VSTs that are on a folder, on a data folder. Let me show you where on the data folder it gets stored. So on the Wusik station data folder, you have the VST effects 32 and 64 bits. On the Mac, you only have the VST effects because the Mac has a better way of handling files. So you just put your VSTs there that you wish to use inside Wusik station. You have to carefully test because not every VST is going to be supported. The ones that we included in the beta installer does work, so you can use those. So let's see the MDA. You can even use synths. On this case, I have added the VST piano, and if I play my keyboard here, I can hear the VST piano. But I don't have my keyboard plugged in here, so I can't show you. But trust me, it works. And you can use those VSTs on both Windows and Mac. I have supplied files for both Windows and Mac. Just the last ones here, the Studio Verb, are not supported on the Mac, just on Windows. If someone helps me porting those to Mac, I appreciate, because I don't have time right now. So this is the first thing we added. On Wusik 8000, it's the same thing, you just add an effect, VST effect, and here you can see the VSTs. I don't have any loaded because I didn't add any on my folder. But usually you just go to the Wusik 4000 or 8000 data folder and you add the VST effects here, just as you do on Wusik station. Wusik 4000 does not have this feature, okay? So let's talk a bit more about the second feature, the micro tuning. This is for those people who knows how to use micro tuning and already have some background on micro tuning files, and you just add the micro tuning files to the folder on your data folder for both the three programs are going to support. You just add the tune files in the data folder, and inside you have the tune files there. And here on the file browser you can add or remove the tune folder. For some reason it's not showing mine here, so let me remove and add again. Maybe it's trying to search on an older file, because I changed a bit my computer files here. So tune files, I'm adding the tune folder. Okay, now it shows up here on the bottom. So I can load the tuning files, and it's going to use this tune information for all the layers. This works on Wusik 8000 as well. Then we have the ADSR mode. Oh, I forgot to tell that if the VST has an interface, like a graphical interface, here you're on the menu, you're going to see an open interface option. And on Wusik 8000, just going to see a button there to open that up. And this ADSR, attack, decay, sustain, release envelope. So let's say you are here on the amplitude envelope. Let me load a preset here. So I have my preset here. I can just click anywhere and select ADSR mode. And instead of graphical envelope, now you have the ADSR mode. And you can still see the graphic on the background. But now it's more easier to use. When you load up a legacy file, a legacy preset from Wusik Station 7 and older, is also going to use this ADSR mode. And one advantage is that you can, at any time, you can exit and you still have the graphical representation of that same envelope with 100% precision. And if you go back to ADSR mode, you can also modulate the attack decay. Let's say I want to use an LFO1, layer 1, amplitude envelope. Now I have the attack, decay, and release. So I can change attack, decay, release now. So this is a great new option. And let me see what's the next one. Okay, the modulation options are already talking about. Now you have also an option. Let's say you have this layer here, you have the sounds you want, but you wish to add to make this a wave sequencer. So you can now just right click on the layer and select convert to wave sequencer. Now it's a wave sequencer layer and you have the sequencer here. So it's just something to help things out. We added the delete all layers option in the sample player. Let's say you're loading files and you have loaded a lot of files, but then, okay, I have, let's say, next new layer. Now I have 5 layers here, but I want to delete all the layers. So I have now the option to delete all layers. It's just something small, but it helps. Now the save preset with samples is a really big new feature because, well, let me explain to you step by step now. Let's say I have loaded a preset. So I have my preset here and I want to save this preset with all the samples that this preset has. So there's a new option here, save preset with samples. The same thing if I go here on file browser, you can say here, save preset with samples. There are 2 places to save it. So now it's going to create a preset pack. This works also on Wusik 8000 and I believe Wusik 4000 too. I don't remember now, I have to check. So it's going to create a Wusik preset pack, but there's a new option here. You can select, let's say you have a project and have, let's say, 5 instances of Wusik Station, and you want to save the samples of all those instances. So you can click here, all running instances, and it's going to save for all of them in the same file. And each instance is going to have a pointer to that file. So when you save a project, you just have to save that file along, and it's going to have all the samples with that file. So let's say current instance only, and it's going to save the file. Let me refresh my browser here. So let's load an empty one. Now I'm going to load the char. So here it is. No, it's not this one. Oh, here, char, and I have the letter P at the start of the name, which indicates it's a packed file. And here at the bottom you can see pack char mistral. That's the name of the file it's going to point for the sounds. And oh boy, and the original name of the sound. So you have the options there. And another great thing is that now you can also save this preset. Let's say you've done some changes and you have tweaked the preset, but you have the same sounds or even if you removed one sound or added other sounds, you can still save as a regular preset. But my advice is that you use the same name and just add some like this tweak01, so you know that this file is going to use the other file for the sounds, because you're going to require the other file for the sounds. And the greatest thing about this file is going to compress to a FLAC file inside of the binary file. So you're going to have a binary file that has the compressed sound data in it. So it's going to try to use either FLAC or gzip, JZip, and it's all done automatically, so you don't have to worry about. We also added new formats of files that you can load up on the sampler now. So they are here: FLAC, MP3, OGG, and Windows Media Audio. You also have the option now to copy, paste, and duplicate save and load layers. So I can now right click here on the layer. I can select to save a layer to a file. It's going to save it to a new file type. So it's Wusik Station layer in this case. And if I refresh my 3V here, you can see here the letter L tells me this is a layer file. So when I load this layer, it's going to ask if I want to load it as a new layer or to replace the current layer. So I can load it as a new layer. Now I have two of the same layers. I can also use the duplicate layer or copy layer and paste layer and paste on top of another layer. And we also add drag and drop option for all the possible presets that you can drag and drop files to the interface. New interpolation code for the sample player, so we'll have a better audio quality now on the sample player, and also on the draw wave oscillator. And another thing we added, if you click here on the Wusik menu, you're going to see the sample player 16 bits memory. So this is not on by default, because when you select this, it's going to take a bit of an extra time to load stuff up, but it's going to use half the memory on most cases. In some cases, we like Wusik sound files that are already 16 bits is not going to make any difference, because it already loads in 16 bits, because we changed on this beta version how it works. The modulation matrix now has an option. When let's say you add here LFO to layer 1, amplitude, let's say layer options, volume. But now you want changes. You want to add another LFO here, and you want here to use LFO1, 2 instead of 1. So you just click here and change to LFO2, and it's going to change. And if you click on the destination, you can change just the destination. It's just something small, but it helps along the way. And to delete this, you just click here on the one. You can select remove. So it's just something small, but it helps. Envelopes, they have a template option now. You can create templates. So let's say here on the envelope, when you're all on the multi-line envelope, you can select save template, and you can also load templates you already saved. So it's very simple. It saves on a special location on the, I think it's extras, multi-line envelope template. It saves here. But you don't have to worry about that, because it's done by the code already. Just save and load there. The sample player JIT's on now. Let's say you are working on a project and you want to create a multi-sample layer on a sample player. Let's say I want here, then let me go to the start here so I can explain a bit better. Let's say, okay, I have my file here loaded. Now I can click and open edit zones. Now I can edit the files and the zones informations for that file. So let's say I'm going to select key high C1 and key root A0. So I can see here at the bottom I have this zone now. Here's information C0 to C1 and root is A0. And now I can add another zone. So I can select new zone. And I can select another new zone. So you can see that I have all my zones here. I can change one zone if I want. And now this is saved on the preset. It's going to link to all these files, of course. So you must have all these files as they show here at the bottom on the same folder structure. So this is going to be saved on the project, so you don't have to worry about having to export this to another file. As long as you don't do any other changes on the waveform itself, which is another feature I'm going to show you in a few moments. What you can do now here, also save preset with samples, or you just save this preset. So let's say I'm going to test zones. Refresh here. I'm going to load another file, and I'm going to load the test zones here. So you can see it loaded the 3 zones. So I'll open edit zones. They are all there with the zone information I wanted. Let me see. Oh, I also changed the numbers here on the layers and on the zones. Here on the layers too, you can see the layer. Because we have to remember that the sample player can support multiple layers, and each layer can has its own multi-sampled files. And I changed it here so it shows the number of the key, but also the name of the key, so it's a bit easier to understand. Also added fine tuning for the layer, so you can also add multiple layers and fine tuning each layer to get a different sound, more fat sound if you want to say. And when you open the edit zones, you can see now you have edit waveform here. Because let's say I want this file in the middle here. Let's say this file on the start. I want edit waveform. So I click edit waveform, and now I can see the whole waveform here. I can edit the loop information. I can select a portion of the waveform and then do a fade in, fade out, mute, remove, normalize, reverse. I have these options, but you have to keep in mind that this is not saved on the project or the preset. You have to save this to another file and load that file in order for this to be able to be used. Or you can just go and use the save preset with samples, which is going to work as well. And you have the zoom here. Just click it to change the zoom from a very fine zoom to a closer zoom. And well, this waveform is too small. Let me pick a bigger one. This is very big. Open edit zones. Let me say if I'm going to edit this one here on the middle. I just click there, edit waveform, and by default the zoom is this one, but you can just click here, show the whole waveform with the loop start, loop end. But I can also click and hold and drag to fine tune my zoom, and I can use the screw on the bottom here to go to the portions of the file, or I can just right click and move slowly to the left and right. So let's say I want to go to this loop point here. This gray area here, this gray box, is the loop start and end, the loop area. So just right click here and move slowly to left and right, and I can now see my zoom options. So this is a very large waveform, so it's a bit harder to edit. But then if you want to change the loop point, you just click on the loop start, and loop end is going to change it. And you can also click and select single stereo view, which is what most editors use. But I rather like the other way, because I can see both waveforms at one time. So this is another new feature. Just don't forget, then when you close the editor, you have to now export the zones to a new format. And now you have a new option here, the Wusik sound. This is a new file format. So when you're exporting to a new file format, it's going to ask you what you want to format to, and you have three options. Multi-file text is like a XM file that you can edit with a text editor, and a bunch of wave or FLAC files when possible, or just wave files, or a single file binary compressed file. So it's going to be just one file with everything inside, but you can't edit. And in multi-file you can edit. So let me show to you what the file looks like. Preset sound sets. So here, testing, you can see the Wusik sound here. And if I open file, it has all this zone information and everything you need to know. It's all in here. And the actual files are inside the samples folder with the name of the file, in this case testing, and the number of the zone information. So it's a very handy new feature. The legacy presets now are loading much better. They are not perfect yet, but they are doing much better. The new waveform editor, as I was talking about. And as for fixes, well, the SFC loading is doing much better now. It's not going to fail when it has unsupported opcodes. It's just going to load the samples. We fixed a lot of problems in the code. So for Wusik 8000, it's pretty much the same thing as I'm showing to you now. You can see the changes here. This is beta 84. It's pretty much the same stuff. Just a few things that are just related to Wusik Station are not here, but most of the stuff are here. And I hope you guys enjoyed this. I apologize for taking so long to do this, but a lot of users don't know, but I had some serious health issues for the past 3 years, and now I'm good again, and this time I'm going to be okay for a very long time. So I'm going to be working on these updates and soon on the new products too. So that's it what I want to talk. And for the rest of the video, I'm going to be doing some more updates to the code. And well, I guess that's it. If you want, you can watch the other videos at live.wusik.com, and I'm doing live streams almost every day, and you can check things out there. So thanks for watching this video, and I hope you enjoy this. Thank you.